Good evening, ladies. I'm a little bit early. I will give you a few moments to get on. Okie dokie. When you get here, please say that you're here. So our first card that we're going to build tonight is called a pillar with side panel card, and it opens and it would stand like that for the recipient, but the beauty is it will fit inside a standard A2 envelope. Okay, so this is our card. And the parts that you will have, you should have a piece of white that is 4 1/4 by 11, and it has been scored for you. You are going to have a small little bow that we're going to use as an embellishment. Hi, Arlene. And I see Cindy's on. And then we're going to have some little sprigs, open sprigs, and a solid sprig. You are going to have 2 small white circles. You're also going to have your little gems. You will have 2 sage rectangular pieces, one with our sentiment and one without. You will have your round circle. Hi, Valerie. That has already been stamped for you with Deepest Sympathy. And then you're going to have 4 pieces. Now, this is your decision if you want to keep all 4 of them the floral, or if you would like to have 2 of them as stripe and 2 as floral, or do all striped. That's completely up to you. So we're going to get started here now that we have all of our supplies. So let's get ourselves started. So you will have your 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece of paper, and this is going to be scored at 1 1/4, 5 1/2. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 1/4, 3 1/2, 5 1/2, 7 1/2, and then 9 1/2. So 1 1/2, 3 1/2, 5 1/2, 7 1/2, 9 1/2. So that is going to be our basic base of our card. So what I want you to do is fold each one and give it a nice crispy edge with your bone folder. Okay, so I'm just going to go through each one, and I'm just folding on that score line, giving it a crispy edge. I was diagnosed yesterday with carpal tunnel, so I've been now fitted with a brace for hopefully only a month, and then I can get back to normal. So you should have your base, and it's probably looking like a semicircle right now. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is this very last panel. We are going to put some very strong adhesive there. So if you have score tape or the red line tape or tear-in tape, anything like that, that is what you're going to want to use so that we can close off this last panel, because then everything else will get built around this. So I have probably 2 more strips to put on. Hi, Michelle. For the crop next Saturday, could you maybe bring dessert? That would be fabulous if you could. Okay, I'm just vernishing all of my tear-in tape. going to use my Take Your Pick tool to lift those up. Okay, so what we're going to do is this very first panel needs to come to this last panel, and we want the two of them to basically kiss each other. So I'm going to make sure that I have them meeting before I really press down. There we go. Those are meeting nicely. And now I'm just going to manipulate my card by pushing on this outer edge to get this to pop. Perfect. And we are going, I know this card looks so much more intimidating, but it's so easy. I think I just want to see what it would look like if I did a floral, a stripe, and then the open one is going to go here. I kind of like that. It's a little different than the original. Here's the original. Oh, no worries, Beth. What we did first was we just took that first score line and the last score line and we put them together. And then it will create something that looks like this. Okay? Just so you know. So I'm going to now put my floral piece down first. Maybe, if my adhesive wants to work. Isn't that the way it always is? I'm going to put a floral here. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna change this one up just a little bit. I'm going to put a stripe next to it. So the piece that we just glued, that is going to be on your right hand side. Okay, just so you know. And then I'm going to put this stripe piece here. And now I'm going to put the little panel that has no sentiment on it at all. Okay, so what we need to do now is we're going to flip it over, and this is right where we're going to put the last of everything. So let me flip the sample over so it looks like that. I'm going to put my sentiment here. I think I'm going to do floral and then stripe, so it's like, almost like it's every other one. Okay, now the brand new January through April catalog just was released this week. Have you taken a peek at it online yet? There are some beautiful new products. Oh my goodness. This book, I can honestly say, is my favorite so far from Stampin' Up. It is just so many beautiful new products and beautiful paper. Girls, I don't need any more paper, but oh, I have had to order, which not good. All right, so we have, this is our back side. So your piece that we've adhered together is on your left for the back. And now we're going to flip it back to the front. So now this is our front side. Okay. So again, that piece that we adhered closed is over on your right. Our circle is going to go here, but in order to get it so that when we pop up the card, I don't know if you can see down there, we have those little circles are what is helping it to pop without, so it basically, it looks like it's floating. And that's what we want it to do. So I'm going to take those two small circles and I'm just going to pinch them together. And I am going to use my bone folder here. And I just want to really varnish that good because it needs to be nice and crispy. I'm going to do the second one, same exact thing. And varnish it good. All right. So we are going to actually place them onto our card front first. So when we go to put them on, each one needs to lay near that score line, but not on the score line. I want to be just before it, and on the right hand side it's going to be on just to the right of the score line. And I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use a little bit of tear and tape just because that piece is going to get a little bit of a workout. Hi, Doris. You might want to set this one aside. John, you're going to bring, okay, John, you bring the dessert. So let's, there it is. I had already lost. You know, it's so funny. You work on getting, you know, a beautiful space to work and create in, and then you end up, everything is in a 6x6 spot. Okay, so I'm going to take my first one, and this first one, and it doesn't matter if you do the left side or the right side first, your choice. I am going to put it just to the right of that score line. Now I'm going to take my other, and I am going to go just to the left. I have to turn it just slightly here. Just to the left of that score line. And I'm going to lift it up here in a second so I can show you. So my score line is right there, and these two circles are not hindering that pop, but they're close enough. So now we're going to put a little more adhesive on these two, and then we're going to center our circle on top of that. So that's what's going to give us that floating effect. Okay? And the beauty is it's so well hidden, nobody's going to see it, and they're all thinking, well, how did she make that float like that? And you'll just have to say, it's my secret. Okay, so I'm going to peel these off. Okay, so having this, and I'm kind of holding it down, and I'm going to place my circle, and I'm just going to sort of eyeball it and make sure I'm in the center, and I look pretty good in the center there. So we're going to put that on. Now we're going to put our cute little sprigs next, and I will be using liquid glue for that. And I think I'm going to start with the solid one. And I'm just going to go to the left of the word with, and I only put my adhesive along that stem. And now we're going to do the other one, and I'm going to grab tweezers so I have a place to hold. Let me just see how far I need to All right, so at least 1, 2, 3 loops. 3 loops need to get glued. So I'm going to put my tweezers up there. You want to be careful where you are putting your adhesive, only because if you put it up on that top one, it's going to kind of close off your card. And we really don't want to do that. You want to be able to let that pop. So I'm going to lay that like that on top. And now we're going to do the other side. So I can, this time it looks like I can do 4 loops. And I'm going to lay that on next. And then the nice thing is the bow is going to hide our tails. Or I should say it's going to camouflage it. It's not necessarily going to hide it. Okay, I'm going to use a glue dot right about there. I think I'm going to put a second one just to make sure that it will stick. There we go. And you might need to do a little adjustment on your bow. I tried to get it as even as possible for you. And then we will put our cute little embellishments. I'm going to put the largest one on my circle above the word sympathy, just like so. And then my other 2, I'm going to put them in above where my sprigs are. Oh, and I just lost one. Oh, man. So I'm going to put one right about, well, maybe there. And let's see if I can find the other one. Yeah, I can't. Oh, yes I did. I found it. Oh, yay. And I'm going to go on a diagonal from that one. So let me raise that up for you. So I did a small one, and then my medium one, and my large one is right here. Okay? And the beauty is our card will stand just like that. Isn't that beautiful? It's such a pretty, pretty card. Okay. I'm going to set these aside and get our supplies for our next one. Okay, our next one should be something with browns. I'm just double checking if I missed anything. I don't think I missed anything on this one. Nope. All right, so you are going to have a bow. Oh, this needs to be trimmed. Ooh-wee. There we go. Much better. It was a little too wonky for me. And I think I still want a little more of an angle on this side. There we go. Much better. All right, you have a bow. You are going to have some pretty iridescent glittered gems. You are going to have your sentiment that says sent with lots of love, a glitter circle. You are going to have your tree branch and then a bracket to match. You're going to have a brown stripe. This is espresso. And then your card base. So you want to realize that your card base will open to the left as opposed to top to bottom. So again, this was a 4 1/4 by 11-inch piece, and I scored it at 5 1/2. The beauty of your 8 1/2 by 11 paper, you can get 2 card bases out of 1 sheet, whether you do it where it is your 4 1/4 by 11, or if you did it the other way, the 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, you'll get 2 pieces out of that. Okay, so let's put our espresso piece down first. The espresso stripe is going down first. Then you can have your stripes going whichever direction diagonal you want. If it makes any difference, I don't think it will. And then I'm just going to center that on my front, like so. Okay, we are going to build these 2 pieces together next. And after tonight's class, over the weekend, I will transfer this over to YouTube. So if you could go over to YouTube and give it a thumbs up, a like, maybe leave a comment if you could, that would be fantastic. The next thing I'm going to do, because let me just double check, did I put foam on it? I did put foam on this. Okay, I gotta find my white pens right there. Okay, so we're going to put some foam on the back of this. And you can use your dimensionals, you can use your foam tape, foam dots, whatever you have. Okay, so I am going to put it where I have 2 branches are going to be at my top. Let's just see. You could go this way and then you would just be putting your circle down here. So that's a choice, whichever way you'd like to put. And I'm going to center this right onto my front of my card, just like that. Then my circle is going to lay here, but I do need a little bit of foam at this top part because if not, it's higher. The bottom is higher than the top. So I am going to put just a little bit of foam at this top portion. And then I'm going to put some adhesive at the bottom. And then I'm just going to fit it in like so. Now with my Scent with Lots of Love, this is where I'm going to want to use liquid adhesive, because the liquid adhesive is going to get into the nooks and crannies of the glitter and it will hold much, much better. So let's place that there. I'm looking for something that has a little bit of weight. So I'm going to just put my scissors on for a few moments. Just so it will set. And while I'm waiting for that to set, I am going to grab one of my gel pens. I'm looking to see which one. I want the one that is marked 1.0. And for that, I'm just dabbing at the end of each of the pine boughs. So it will look like there's a little bit of snow on the branch. Just a little. I'm just dotting it on. I'm not even going very far. It's just like a few dots per little pine branch. I hope everyone's been having a good week this week. First full week of the new year. The kids are already asking, is it springtime yet? This weather does not help them to realize, no, we're still in winter. They'll get it again over the weekend. And they have started what's called iReady testing. It's one of their standardized tests. And I just have to toot. One of my second graders, he got a score of 500, which puts him at his grade level for his reading test. So that was a pretty big deal. I mean, for him to get through the test, and B, do so well, it's like, oh yes, he's finally listening. I'm just going to continue putting dots. I'm putting a little bit even on the twigs that do not have the pine on it. It's just that little added touch, and they are a little raised. Not too bad though. There's really not a ton of dimension. They are definitely thinner than foam tape. There we go. So now let's get ready to put our bow on. And our bow is going to just lay within the bottom of the white circle. So again, I'm going to put a glue dot. These are the glue dots that come with the card kits from Stampin' Up. I like them because they're so flat. They also come inside your paper pumpkin kits. It's another great product that I like. So now I'm going to put my bow on, press, make sure it's on there. And then we are going to put our little gems. Now our gems, you're going to have a large one and then two small ones. These are by Stampin' Up, and they are, let me see, the iridescent foil gems. So I'm going to do a large, and I'm going to go to the right of my circle. In that upper spot. And then I'm going to do a small one. And I'm going to go right below it, but on a diagonal. And then my third one is going to go somewhere within where the branches are. So let me raise that so you can see. So I did my largest one to the right of the glittered circle, and then a small one on a diagonal below, still on the right. And then I did the third one anywhere below my circle. I think on my sample, it's a little higher up, but none's the wiser. So now my sample, I added way more white at the ends of the pines. Here on the one we just did tonight, I just did little dots. So I kept it very simple and plain. And that was with a white gel pen. Okay. So that is card number 2. And we're going to get card number 3 out. Tonight's class is pretty quick. The cards really were simple but elegant. You really don't want a lot of fuss and muss over a sympathy card. you really want to keep it more subdued, I guess is what I'm trying to think of. So now this one, you will see in your kit, has a background that is embossed. Then we're going to have just a little bit of glitter. We will have another bow. Our two pattern pieces are from the Peaceful Gardens. Hi, Patty. And then we're going to use those same iridescent dots that we just used, but this time it's going to be too big and a small, I think. Nope. On the sample it is, but what I think I gave you was a large and two smalls again, because that's the way they fell on the sheet. And then we have our circle again, and then we have a little bit of a sprig. This circle, I'm loving it. It is from the set called Stylish Shapes. It's good. It's a good one. So let's get ready to build this card. So we have our circle, we have our bow, and again, like I said, I just made your bows. You will need to do your trimming so that you get it the way you like it. I figured it was probably easier for me to make the bow than for you to make the bow. And I'm just setting everything aside. We do need to dovetail our glitter, so let's do that part first. So since it is glitter paper and it is a little thicker, I really can't do the pinch method. So I'm just going to snip in the center. I'm going to cut from that bottom to the center on a diagonal. And now I like to flip mine over and do from the other diagonal bottom back up. That's the way I like to do it. And I seem to be able to get it where it's a nice even dovetail. So I'm going to do that again. Snip in the center. Now I'm just going to turn it just a hair. And I'm going to snip from this bottom left to that center. And now I'm going to flip my glitter paper over so I can do from the back side. And I'm going to go from that bottom left back up to that center point. And it created a really nice dovetail for me. So let's set that aside. And we are going to start with our embossed piece first. Okay, let's close the front of our card. Give it a good crispy edge. And since it is embossed, I am going to be a little more liberal with my adhesive, because I want it all to stick to the front of my card. Okay, and we're going to center it on. Center that on, just like so. Okay, next we're going to take our two pieces that are from the Peaceful Gardens paper collection. I am going to do the piece that's more washed first, and that is 1 1/4 by 3 1/2, and that is going to be placed in the bottom, I'd say third, if we were looking at our base as thirds. Let's see if I can get us a measurement. Okay, so that's there. So I am going to go approximately 2 inches from the bottom, and I'm going to center it from left to right. And I really gave it a lot of adhesive only because it's going on top of that embossed piece. And I want it all to really stick inside that embossed piece. Next, we're going to take the square floral, which is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2, and I'm going to place that on next. Now, if you're like, oh, I really like the other sides, please use your other sides. Totally fine. This time I'm going to, if you're looking at your card and envision the center of the card, I'm going to the right of that center because I want a little bit of that bottom one peeking through on the right, but I want more peeking through on the left. And I just centered that on as well. Okay. Next, we're going to take our glitter piece, and this glitter piece is what's going to get centered right in the center of the card, so that we'll have some of this showing, and then this side will be showing as well. So let's put our adhesive on that. And I'm just sort of like envisioning a center line for myself. And I'm kind of to the left of that center. So it's like centered. Okay. And if anybody wants to know, that dark blue is called Secret Sea. It's one of my new favorite colors. I like that color. Next, we're going to put our circle on. But I am going to put it on with foam tape. Don't know how much foam is left on this roll, but we will find out. Oh, good. Just enough. Okay, and then knowing that this last one here is going to be what's going to touch my glitter paper, I am going to put a little bit of liquid on top of that. Well, I'm going to put it on all three actually, just because it's going to be on so many layers, and in case any of it comes in contact with the embossed paper, then that way I know it's going to stick. So I'm going to center this on my card so it is, let's see, I've already wiggled. So here's that 4. So I'm about an inch from the bottom. So that adhesive, the foam adhesive, it's laying on top of my glitter. It's a little bit is on the embossed piece. And then next we're going to take this pretty sprig and we're going to place that on next. This sprig comes from one of the sets. I just kind of want to see because I don't need a ton of adhesive. So I'm going to put my tweezer right about there. And I'm just going to dab a little bit. It is from another stamp set that is for the Peaceful Gardens paper collection. And it has the doves on it. Okay, I'm going to place that. Let's see. I don't want to cover up too much of my word with. It is a very pretty collection. There we go. Lovely. Okay, we're going to put our glue dots next. I just kind of want to give myself a little eyeballing because it's going to go on top of that sprig. So I'm just going to give myself enough for the ribbon to adhere. This ribbon is so pretty. So pretty. And I like that it's that iridescent. And if you need to, you can always put a glue dot behind a bow. Like one of the little loops. I'm going to do that to this side. And I think I am going to do it to the other side too, just so I have symmetry. Maybe not. It's okay. All right, and then we're going to put our gems. So I'm going to start with the largest one. And the largest one is going to go above the circle to the right of the circle. So it's basically going to be on a flower or on a leaf. And then my other two, the two small ones, I am going to put one on my circle and one on a diagonal from the circle. And I will raise that up so that you can see what I'm talking about. So again, I did that largest one up here to the right and above the circle. And then the two littles, I put one on the circle underneath like the TH for sympathy. And then I went diagonally and I put the other small one. So those two go here. And that's our third card. I told you, these were pretty easy. And we're going to gather the last one. And while you girls finish up that one, I am going to grab our cards for the next few months so I can show those to you. Okay, so let's get this one done first. And I need a blending brush and the mist color. Okie dokie, here we go. So this is our fourth and final card for tonight. And you are going to have some iridescent pearls. You are going to have two brackets that fit one into the other, so they're nested. You are going to have a dove that is cut out of pearlescent paper, which that was close to my heart. Then you're going to have two pattern pieces. One is a stripe, one is a linen. You're going to have a piece of mist and then a piece of gray. And then your card base. So let's begin the building. So we're going to fold our card base in half. Give it a good crispy edge, so our card doesn't go flying. Okay, I am going to put down the gray piece first. Okay, and we're going to center that on our base. So let's put that down first. So your gray goes first. Then we're going to put the mist second. And like I've said before, I am using up the last of my close to my heart paper before I really get into purchasing a ton of cardstock from Stampin' Up. Now I do have some, especially as colors have worn, like they're gone. I don't have any more of. Or it's a color that's just so spectacular. I'm like, yeah, I gotta have it. All right, so I am going to lay these two pieces where they belong, and then I will take the smaller of the two off, and I'm going to put my adhesive on that. What we just did is called dry fitting. So we have it there without any adhesive, just so that we can make sure that everything's going to fit beautifully. So I'm going to do that linen piece first. And I'm just eyeballing that I have enough at the top, the bottom, and the side. And now I'm going to do that striped piece next. And these two pieces are going to lay right next to each other, and they will butt up to each other. So next, I'm going to take my mist ink, and you don't need to do this if you don't want. And I'm just going to put a little bit here, lightly, in a circle. And then I'm going to take this gray. I think I have too much blue still on this blending brush because it's coming out way blue. Okay, so all I did was have that spotlight for the dove, and these two are going to go on next. So I'm going to take the first nested bracket in gray, and I'm going to lay that within the dark blue. Now the dark blue is Harbor, but if you can't get your hands on Harbor, you're going to want to get Secret Sea, because that is the other one that it's so similar. I'm going to put some foam on the back of this bracket. Well, that's all she wrote there. All right, let me grab some dots. Who still has their Christmas decorations up? Other than me. Mine are coming down this weekend. Sadly. Sadly, they're coming down. That's my goal, is Saturday to work on that. It's so depressing. I was going to do it last weekend, and Matt's like, why? Why be depressed twice? You know, once because you have to go to school, and once because all the Christmas stuff comes down. He goes, just worry about going back to work this week. It goes in the next weekend, take all that down. I'm like, oh, okay. I said, so instead I'll just take the depression and extend it. Okay, so we're going to place this on, and it's going to hang over that linen piece. I'd say, like, you have this first loop, then the second loop. That second loop is going to be on your stripe. Like, it's going to nestle between the two, just like so. And then we have our dove. And I need to put, let's see, did I do that? No, actually I kept it free floating. So I am going to put a few dots of foam though on the dove, like on the body. Close to the edge of the wing and the body. And I'm going to let it free float off the edge of that bracket. And the beauty is this will, so if you give it a little, it has some movement in it for you. And then we're going to put our pearls. Now these are called the iridescent pearl gems, I think. Let me just look. No, they're just the, yeah, they are the iridescent, the antique pearls. They're antique pearls is what they're called. So we're going to start with the large. And I'm going to get it up here. So my large is going to go to the right and slightly above the Y in sorry. My medium is going to go, so if this is my large, I'm going to the right and on a diagonal above. So it's going to lay on the stripe. And then the small is going to go above the dove. So it's almost like where you would envision a like a hole for a tag. So that's kind of right where I put it. And I'm going to raise it here in 2 seconds to show you. So this was our large, then the medium, and then the small. This one's really good for a man. Like maybe he's lost his wife or something like that. Or they've lost their parent. I think this is more appropriate to give to a man. Okay, so that is our 4th card. So those are all done. And now I'm going to show you what's coming super soon. So the first one will be our February card class, and it is called Friendship Hello. So this is one of our cards. It just says, hello, fabulous. And it's nice and bright and cheery. This one I left empty on the inside so that you could do, thanks, Arlene, so that you could write your own sentiment on that one. This is the second one, and it says, hello, friend. So you will be doing some coloring with marker. And it was coral blends and I think light green or something. And then the inside I put, you are beautiful, brave, and wonderfully made. Isn't that such a nice sentiment for a friend? Then we have this fun card. Wait till you see the inside. So this is using an embossing folder, but I only embossed half of the shape. A new technique, right? We're going to do this cute little typewriter, and I used my colored pencils. Now, when you open this card, it goes like this, and it says, hello, gorgeous. Then you open it up one more time, and now this is right where you're going to write your sentiment. Isn't that kind of nifty? So this piece, I think, was 4 1/4. So 4 1/4, but it will still fit within our standard card base. Okay, I thought that one was fun. And then I like this one too with the Coca-Cola. Hey, friend. And then you open it. You're a lot of fun. I just thought that was just so fun. So that is our February class. So I'm just going to set that aside. Now our March class will be a masculine birthday theme. And the first one is this. So this is embossed, an embossing folder. And we have just a little bit of a gem on this one. And this one's going to open like so. Birthday wishes. See, even I stamped poorly. So I will probably fix that when I go to give it to somebody. Then, I love this one. You're not old. You're a classic. And again, we have that embossed, an embossing folder here. And then I just did a little bit of sponging with ink on the background, just to give it a little more texture. And then the inside, happy birthday, my old friend. Isn't that great for a man? It's perfect. All right. Then we're going to have this one. Again, more embossing. I was like, I am getting out that darn embossing folders. So it just says, happy birthday, in the inside, wishing you the best. And then this one's my favorite. This says, happy birthday. Again, I embossed my pattern paper. Now, I don't know if you can tell the gear I sprayed about 9 different glossy sprays and glittered sprays all onto a piece of paper. And after it dried, then I die cut these pieces out. Isn't that awesome? So fun. So happy birthday, and then the inside, celebrating you today. Fun. So that will be our March class. Let me just set that, and then that. Then our April class will be female birthday. So we have this with the beautiful bow paper. That was close to my heart. This Snapdragon is a Stampin' Up stamp. And then you open it like this. Hope your day is as awesome as you. Happy birthday. Then we have this one. Again, you're going to do some coloring here. Let's celebrate. And then the inside, happy birthday to you. We are going to do this birthday card here that has those arches. This stamp set and die set right now, I think, is in the Wild Supplies last chance. And it's the celebratory Sips dies. And I used it instead of a glass, I used it as a vase. And then put some sprigs coming out of it. And then it'll open like so. Birthday wishes. It's your day. Birthday wishes. And then the fourth and final card for April is this. Oh, and this paper right now is in the last chance section too. So we have happy birthday here. Then it will open like this. And it just says hooray. And then it hides, and then you will put your message on the back if you wanted to write a lot. And if you're like, oh, I just need to write my name, that's all, you would have a spot down here to write your name. Okay? So it's a little bit different. We've got 2 pop-ups, and that's how they will close. Fun stuff for April. And then I have May done also. Yes. I'm so thrilled. So the first card for April, and this is a stamp set that is out right now. I cannot remember the name of it to save my soul, but it's out right now. And then, so the inside or the outside is thinking of you, and the inside, you're on my mind and in my heart. Isn't that pretty? And then this fun one, and this theme was thinking of you. So thinking of you, and this is going to be 2 layers of dies. And then you're my type of friend. Get it? Typewriter. Ha 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 ha. Thanks, Doris. We're going to have this beautiful one where it's double embossed. And this I used the 12 days of Advent, 12 days of crafting Advent calendar. I think that's the name of it. There's just so much product in there. The ribbon is from there. This, the stamp, the little gems, all of that, the ribbon, that's all from that kit. So thinking of you, and then the inside, you make my heart happy. I mean, and again, if you're like, oh, I love the card, but please don't stamp anything. Just let me know that, and then I won't stamp anything other than like the flowers. I would stamp the flowers for you, and then you could do your own. Maybe you want to turn it into a happy birthday instead of a thinking of you card. That's totally fine. And then this is the 4th card for that month. Thinking of you and smiling. And then it opens like this. Your laughter makes my heart smile. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I had so much fun over Christmas break getting things done. I just love it. So if you are wanting to participate in classes and you have not prepaid already, it is $12 per card set. So just let me know. And some of you ladies are already signed up for several of these. So you could just let me know, hey, which one have I not paid you for, or whatever. Just let me know. All right. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will see you on Sunday for Sunday Fun Day. Good night.